Tupelo Convention and Visitor Bureau Executive Director. That's a mouthful, by the way. TCVB.
Yeah, that'll work.
Executive Director. ED.
Tourism.
Neal McCoy.
Tourism. I try to explain it to my kids. Dad, what do you do? I invite people to come visit. That's all you need.
That's
to
a
know.
good. That's a good soundbite.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
That's all.
The man who invites people to come to Tupelo, Neal McCoy. But you are working on a new exhibit at CVB that is actually interesting.
Yeah. So this is. I hope it's interesting.
It is.
The plan is for it to be interesting, and what it is, it's more of rather than just an exhibit. It's kind of rebranding our visitor center, our lobby, and what we want to do is go through and tell really the cultural story of Tupelo. I mean, it dates back to the Chickasaws kind of settling here and creating, their homeland here in Tupelo, and their story of living here and what all took place during their time here. And then you kind of move through early settlement, and you kind of start to identify the time and places of things that were relevant, and kind of the next big thing that shows up is during the Civil War times. And you kind of move through that, and then you start having post-World War II economic development, and Tupelo starts to become a city that is kind of making its way. And then you have what, for many cities in the South, the civil rights struggle, the integration of schools, and Tupelo handled that better than most. Mm-hmm. There certainly some dark days during that time, absolutely, but considering what some of the other cities in the South went through, Tupelo handled it better than most. And so we want to tell those stories. And then you kind of look at, obviously, the thing that we're most known for, Elvis, and we want to kind of tell all those stories about Tupelo in an active and engaging way. And you want to do it to where people can either come in and get hands-on, or that they can touch and see video and technology to where it kind of engages them and then kind of whets the appetite to get out and explore the community. So that's kind of the whole thought behind it, is that we want to create a space that people want to come to before they get out and explore the community.
This exhibit is part of a larger plan, the 10-year strategic plan. Can you kind of fill us in a little bit on the larger context here?
Yeah, so about 5 years ago, we went through a research plan, and out of that research, we kind of made a strategic plan. The strategic plan, one of the first things we needed to do is kind of rebrand ourselves and get our marketing message to be consistent across all of our platforms. And when I say our platforms, it really means our touch points with the consumer, and that is a potential visitor. So the first thing we did was get all of our creative look to be consistent. And so now we have brand standards of our logos and our ad messaging and all those things that when I say the invitation, when we extend the invitation out, it looks consistent across all the different ads and all the different digital marketing. Yeah. And then the next point is our website. So we went through that process of rebuilding a brand new website within the brand standards. And from there, the next touch point was the visitor center. So, when we invite them, when they go to the website to kind of complete the transaction of saying, I want to visit and build out an itinerary. So this is the third phase in that, and that is the Welcome Center. The fourth phase of that is the Wayfair and Wayfinding signage program that we're about to open bids on and start that process. So, now all of the touch points with the consumer will be complete, from the ads to the call to action on the website to their arrival in the community and the wayfinding signage saying you have arrived and here's all the great things you can do, and move them around the community. And then when they finally arrive at the visitor center, all the touch points are consistent with our brand standards.
And I want to ask you, too, about the use of technology. You said you're going to use some, but, not so much that you're locked into a certain type of technology that could be, antiquated in a few years. Because, let's be honest, 4 or 5 years, I expect that all our smartphones will be made of that liquid metal, like the Terminator T1000, and then you can just turn your phone into a tablet. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely it. I mean, that's
he's doing that thing where he talks again. I'm sorry.
He lost me at T1000. But what was your question? No, I'm kidding. No, that is so true. I mean, that I have talked to a couple of visitor centers that went all in on technology.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, it became antiquated, and there was one that kind of had a floor that lit up as you walk through, and half of the floor doesn't work now, and so in order to change that out, you got to rip up the whole floor. Those are things that we just don't want to get into.
Right.
Cosmetic things are relatively easy to change. And so that's kind of what we want to look at. We don't want to get into a situation where we're locked into just doing. Video is a big part of what we're going to do because you can tell that story and you can tell it pretty effectively in small snippets, and so that's kind of what we want to do. Some of that, there's ways now where you can go in and if we even talked about just kind of begin the daydreaming part of this. What if you could cut your own Elvis record, and have a sound booth and you just do a voiceover and have it emailed to you, and now we capture your email and we have a way to follow up with you and invite you back for other things to do in Tupelo. So those are just kind of some pie in the sky thinking that we've already begun on.
Yeah.